If you've been emotionally harmed during germination, you may be
Yeah,
entitled to
right.
compensation.
Hey nerd, so I've got a little bit of a personal question for you. What is the last thing that you stuck in your can?
You know the answer to that question. It was that 4-foot lemon
Whoa,
bomb
whoa,
that
whoa!
Johnny
Hold on,
gave me.
No. I'm not talking about that, dude. No.
Oh shit.
Anyways, we've got the Dawn of Germination, the inventor of the Cannakan, and a good friend of the show. One of the supporters from of the very beginning, before you and I ever started doing a podcast, before we started, we were just doing reels at that point. So
Yeah, no, I don't even think we were a Grateful Nerd at that point. Yeah.
no, we were just two guys doing some silly shit. So I'd like to thank Don from Cannakan. Thank you for joining us, dude.
Yeah, man, it's great to be here for sure.
It's been a long time coming. You've been very busy with everything that you got going on, but we were finally able to get you on here. And how you doing this weekend, man? Anything you got anything exciting going on this weekend? Trying to relax, or what do you got?
Yeah, this weekend I'm trying to take it easy a little bit. I mean, I just got back from Berlin a little bit ago, and I'm trying to, relax a little bit, kind of get things in order, and much needed downtime for sure. So
Sure, yeah, and that's I'd like to start at least the kind of like the just this little beginning of the show of us kind of catching up, seeing what's going on, what we got, growing in the garden or whatever. And then the later half of the show, man, I want people, to hear from you, what got you into the industry, so to speak, what got you into all that. So we're going to get into that. But
awesome.
what got your interest in gardening? Doesn't have to be specifically in cannabis unless that was kind of your introduction into gardening. What made you come down this route to now be where you're sitting?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I grew up in a right to farm community here in Westport, and so gardening's always played a big role in my life. I have early memories of hanging out at my grandfather's potato farms, and we always grew fresh vegetables and stuff as a kid. So I always remember being on the back porch shucking corn and cleaning up beans and everything else. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's always been. I mean, it's in my fiber, man. It's like part of everything that I've always done. I've always grown up around gardening. Becoming a homeowner and stuff, you get to establish your own, garden yourself and start to grow it. So I really it's always been a really big part of my life. It's
now I know for us, I know for me, I do a lot of like that K&F type style gardening and this and that. And I think a lot of that goes back to probably stuff that your grandparents were doing and stuff, because that was before, there was all this shit on the shelves and all these companies were trying to sell you shit. So I this kind of just came up in my mind. Is there anything that you can recall from back then? You're like, my grandpa or my grandmother, or my parents were doing this in their garden. You're like, holy shit, this is now what they call it. They call it K&F. They call it natural farming now.
right.
It was just, the way that locals did it. Do you remember any of that kind of stuff?
I think going back and keeping it simple. Do you know what I mean? Going back and using natural resources. Like we're big into compost. We don't do a lot of, everything that we do is pretty much natural. Anything that we got within the property itself we're using. We're not really adding much to it. So, I think when I started, getting older and establishing our own gardens, we tried everything. I mean, I remember every year I'd be out there with my old Gravely, row cutter and, rototilling the whole garden over and over again. And now we're at like no-till stage where we just keep loading on top. And But I think you need to go through all those processes. You know what I mean?
All,
You know,
all
when we
trial
first
and errors.
yeah, when we first would garden, we would grow every vegetable under the sun, and then you find out you don't eat 90% of your garden. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm
And
finding out for sure. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
but you have to go through it to figure out what it is that you do best with, what you're gonna, you know, what's gonna, you know, you're gonna eat during the season, or what you can end up, you know, canning or whatever you decide.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of that. I mean, now our our, our gardens are really specific and really, you know, we're pretty good at, you know, keeping it, you know, down to what actually we're going to use and simplifying the whole process itself and expanding upon outside the vegetable garden. We do a lot of flowers now and everything
Okay.
else. So, the fruits too, like so I have grapevines and different fruit trees and stuff. So,
Yeah, that's actually, I'd like to thank you and give you a shout out. I remember last year, you do watch our content, which I am so grateful for and thankful for. But it was actually one of those videos, and this is also one of those reasons why I talk about and put out the things that I do, because putting my things that I'm doing out into the world for other people to put their eyes, you picked up on something that I had wrong. I mean, I had mentioned it in the video, and you're like, dude, I dealt with that same thing. It was the peaches.
peach
Remember the
curl.
peach curl? Yeah. And you
Yeah.
were the first one that came to me and like, dude, this is what I did. Like, you got to get on top of it, this and that. And I remember you reaching out and telling me all that. And yeah, I
Yeah.
kept on it, and I was right there. So I want to thank you for that.
Yeah, man, it's awesome, man. And that's what's great about, yeah, building these relationships and having this sort of community because you are, you know, because even I'm still learning. So it's nice to get out there and see what other people are doing, and maybe be able to have a little bit of advice. And it's also cool. Like I remember just recently telling you, like, wow, man, it's really cool to see the evolution of your garden and how far you've gone in the last, you know, year or two. And it's yeah, it's
Yes,
pretty cool, man.
it's been a wild journey. It's been a wild journey for sure.
All right, y'all, we're going to get back into the show. But first, I have to read an ad. Are you tired of strains with boring names like Purple Monkey or OG whatever? At Grandpa's Loud Elbow, every strain is named after a real story your grandpa won't stop telling, even though no one knows if it ever actually happened or even if it makes sense. Weed inspired by long winded tales that start with things like, I'm not saying that I fought Elvis, but I was in Memphis with a knife. You'll love Grandpa's classic loud strains like Jesus in Korea, a spicy, disorienting sativa that makes you salute a cloud. Pants Full of Bees, a chaotic hybrid good for both gardening and settling grudges. Wrong Bus, Right Woman, which is romantic and will make you feel slightly panicked with butterflies in your stomach. The Pickle Jar Bet of 58, a strain where nobody wins, but no one will ever forget. Our flower is slow cured in a basement that smells like old newspapers, hard candy, and possible war crimes. Every eighth comes with a little slip of paper that says, Don't tell your grandma. So if you're looking to get high and suddenly remember a story about a raccoon or a weird priest or a broken CB radio, ask your bud tender for Grandpa's Loud Elbow. Grandpa's Loud Elbow, weed with a story. Confusing, possibly illegal, but definitely heartfelt. Back to the show.
Do you what is your main vegetables that the family enjoys? Because I know your wife is a big gardener. I know she's always posting stuff, and I always like seeing what you guys got going on over there with the flowers, and of course your son. Um,
Yeah.
what is the Cannakan's favorite vegetables? We all want to know what's going on in the Cannakan's garden.
Well, I would say, unfortunately, one of our main things that we grow doesn't get started in the can, but
Oh no.
Sue has been she's been doing a lot of garlic.
Okay.
That's her big thing, and she's like generational now. So she's been reseeding from the previous year's garlic over in a year, and I think she's probably on with the garlic maybe her eighth year now.
Oh no.
So garlic is really big with us. We do a lot of tomatoes, and she does onions, which is really big. Yeah, so yeah, potatoes and lettuce. You know what I mean? Stuff that we're able to eat a lot of. one thing too that I would say that's pretty cool is that we learned is, so one thing she'll do is she'll do her garlic, and garlic comes down right around now.
Okay.
And what we do now is in those beds is we'll plant squash and whatever else. And what we found doing this now is the squash catches up fast, but now you're avoiding the bugs, all the little squash bugs and stuff. So that's been pretty interesting, taking down the garlic and switching over to squash and being really successful there.
That's awesome. And actually, I'm going to have to bend your ear. I'll have to text you at some point, and I'm going to have to come get some garlic from y'all. Trade in or whatever.
Yeah.
I have tried to start garlic. It was probably a couple years, 3 years now. But I haven't done it yet. And I need to, if I can find a good one that's hardy and it's good up in our area.
Yeah. Especially if you find like farm stands close to you and whatever else, you want to try to find something that's been native, you know what I mean? They got growing around you. You'll be most successful. And you're almost at, you know what I mean? It's in the fall that you're going to get it started. So there you go. You could definitely get on it this year for sure.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna
You can come to Garlic Fest with us this fall.
Oh yeah.
Man, I love it.
When is that?
I think it's usually the last weekend in September.
Okay.
Now, where is that, in Connecticut?
It's in Saugerties, New York. The one I go to, at least.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I'd be surprised if Connecticut didn't have a garlic fest. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I'm sure if Sue
garlic ice cream,
I would try it.
It's mad good.
I absolutely love garlic, man. So yeah,
that's where I got my starter bulbs last year.
That's right.
I went around to. A lot of the vendors will give you like a little sliver to try, and this dude just he gave me this slice, and it was so spicy it like knocked my socks off. It was like horseradish. And I was like, all right, so I bought 2 of those, and then I just harvested the scapes like last week.
Man, the best, right?
Yeah,
man. If you don't know what scapes are, get on your garlic growing and get in some of those.
I'm gonna have to
grill them with a little salt and butter. Oh my, they're the best. I love scapes.
So the scapes are when you've got like those main things coming up out of the ground, and then they start to like curl, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Then you can top the plant to give the bulb a little extra energy for the last couple of weeks, so you can eat the scapes.
And Sue will be out there. She'll have them up her old arm like a bracelet. She's out there loading them on. Yep. And man, I love scapes. They're amazing. Yeah, 100%.
That's great.
We just had Matt from Strange Show came up. He went over. He's doing a documentary about Cannakan, which is pretty cool.
Oh no!
But he was in the garden, and we were showing him some of the garlic, and he made the mistake of eating some of it raw. I said, "It's gonna be a bit spicy, buddy."
That is cool. Now, I mean, so we've been doing a lot of vegetable talking, but that's not the only type of gardening that you do. I mean, you grow cannabis, or you've been around it. What kind of led you down that path?
I mean, honestly, it was. I mean, if you think about it, before it went legal, it was pretty expensive, and keeping costs down was huge. I mean, that was probably one of the main factors. And I mean, when you're into gardening and stuff, it's always cool to grow your own. You know, I don't care what it is. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's grapes, flowers, or cannabis. So,
something always special about it. You have definitely.
Yeah, there really is. And it's not even the plant itself. It's the process of it. It's the time spent. It's the education gained. If it wasn't for that, Cannakan wouldn't exist.
Fair enough.
We were always taking the traditional methods of our regular vegetable grows. We were in my basement. We're pretty set up with baker's racks and heat pads and lighting. So we always had been starting all of our plants downstairs.
Yeah.
And I was always doing traditional methods with germination, and so much so I was pretty successful at it that people would come here, and my friend Mike and I would just go through and get seed started every year, get plants going every year.
Yeah.
I live in a house that was built in the late 1800s. So whatever it's like outside, it's kind of like that in the basement. So there's so many variables there that, you'd have a couple killer years and then you had that one bad year and it's costly.
Yeah.
And it was those successes and lack of that inspired me to come up with Cannakan.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, are you more of a outdoor cultivator? Do you grow inside?
No.
No inside.
No, I don't. Like I said, late 1800s house, no closet, no extra room. You know what I mean? It's really difficult. And for myself too, being in such a small house with my son being younger, it just to me wasn't appropriate.
Sure.
And where I was in life, the cost of it growing indoors was also didn't make sense for me.
For sure.
Where outside, it kind of just fits in. You know what I mean? Even man, I don't even know what I got going on now. I'm probably using the same soil that I've been using. I don't even know 5 or 6 years now. So
I love it. So you would consider you are an organic gardener.
100%, yeah. And like I said, just like we are in our regular garden, that goes all the way back to my own little private garden as well. If it's not from here, it doesn't go in there.
I love it.
So where we have a couple acres of property and it's old farm. So in the back, I mean, you want to talk black gold. We have compost naturally in the woods in the back that mostly everything comes from. And then we also have, chickens and goats and, we have some seasoned.
So you got a whole little farm out there.
And I take advantage of all, the seasoned manure to use with top dressing or mixing in with my grow. So.
Okay, that's awesome, dude. Have you gotten into doing any of your own worm castings, worm farm, or anything like that?
No, they're so loaded as it is that I don't really.
Fuck it.
Especially when we dig from so where the goats are, we can pull directly from those pen, and I mean you're talking every shovel full, you're talking dozens of worms in there. So it's just it's just killing it. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, and I'm not
that.
yeah, and I'm not trying to win awards here. You know what I mean? So,
whatever's I mean, it's the easiest, right? Like that's the less work, and you're just
and it works for me. It works for me. You know what I mean? So, and don't get me wrong, I've grown some really beastly, beautiful plants. So I just I enjoy it. I think there's a little excitement almost. It's like any gardening, it becomes that season. Oh shit, here comes the spring again. It's February, March, and you start getting jazzed up about that new grow. And for me, I got that one shot because, you know what I mean? I'm growing for the whole year. So got to nail it.
So now you are predominantly a photo grower if you are growing. I imagine that's probably what you've grown the most of. But what are you thinking of autoflowers? Have you messed around with them much at all?
So one thing I really like now is the fast flowers, which are really cool. It's almost like a hybrid. They wrap up really good timing of the year, mid to end of September before the hairy weather comes in.
Yeah, because it starts getting fucked around our neck of the woods. It's in
New England. Yeah. So I've been trying a bit of those. I really like those. In autos, I'd have to say I started growing here before it was, legal.
Yeah, sure.
And
back
allegedly. Yeah, allegedly. And autos
allegedly.
Allegedly. And autos were kind of new to the game back then.
Right.
And they did not do well outside, not at all. And so I always had these big foxtail messes or having them herm out or, they just never really did really well. In the last couple of years, I've been messing with them, putting them out later when the days are longer, around this time. And yeah, I've had better success with them, but I'm mostly a photo guy.
Okay. All right.
But much respect to where fast flowers, I know where autos have come in the last decade, because it's been a huge difference in the way where they're going with the auto flowers.
I actually have my first photos running right now because I've only ever grown autos.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, I flipped the lights 2 days ago.
And how do you like growing the photos?
It's been cool so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's probably tough to ask you that when you just flip, because it is such a longer period. But I feel like in the end, you know what I mean? Yeah.
It definitely seems like you have a lot more control, and I can respect that.
Well, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel as make or break as autoflowers are.
Yeah, because when you really, as soon as that seed pops with an auto, it's like lighting the wick on a bomb. You know what I mean? And it's like,
you better keep up with it, otherwise you're fucked.
That's it, man. Where a photo, you have a little bit more control of how things go.
Yeah, I put down a little scrog net over them, and then just to get them to kind of stretch away from each other, and then I have a second one I'm gonna put on once it starts shooting up a bit more.
And this is also your first run with the auto pots, so you got 2 new things you're doing, so it's exciting.
Three. I mean, I have scrogged once before, but the plant didn't make it, died.
R.I.P.
And you're not scrogging in a tennis racket.
Yeah.
But how you liking the auto pots? Because I know everybody seems to love them.
It's been cool so far. I like it. So I mean, honestly, very similar to city pickers and earth boxes, like similar tech, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's what you guys,
But I like having the big res where I'm not like, I could just keep dumping gallons into the res as opposed to having to do a funnel and fill up each
down
one.
And pipe. Yeah.
Yeah, because I would talk to him and he'd be like, "Yeah, I haven't checked my tent in like a week," and he's like deep into flower. And it's like, dude, like I know how mine are. They're wanting water every day. Like you got something deep in flower and you haven't watered it in a week. You better get in there, dude.
Yeah, right.
So these auto pots, I think, are definitely what they will fit your style for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I have like busy work days and slower work days. Like my busy work days are like 4 days in a row. So sometimes, it's not till the end of that 4th day I get back to my tent. So now, like on Sunday night, I just throw like 8 gallons in, and then I'm good.
Yeah, that's nice. It's a little relief there for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of going away, Nerd, you and I actually just went on a little trip.
Yeah.
We went to hang out on the at the orchard, the apple orchard. So that was fun.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool seeing you guys like hanging out together. I saw that, man. It was really awesome.
So that was the first time all 3 of us have gotten together. Of course, I've hung out with Nerd multiple times and gotten to hang out with Paranoid, but getting all of us together was awesome. So it was the 3 of us. We had Iztig. You've met him in person as well, Don, and Matt Fratt, Too Tall, and of course Johnny. And Johnny put us up over at his place and gave us the grand tour. He's got so much going on. Again, like you, I'm jealous of his backyard because he's got all the animals. He's got ducks. He's got I've got the chickens, and we actually got a story to tell what happened while I was away. But I love that whenever you can find a way to close the loop, right? Like so like from hearing what you're saying, man, you're like, fuck it. Like I don't have to go out and buy anything. I don't have to. You're like, I just go over there to my my livestock and I just pull right from them, and that's what feeds my garden, which feeds us and then feeds back to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just so awesome. And Nerd, you got to sleep up on that top bunk.
The loft bed.
Yeah.
Surprisingly sturdy based on how it looks. Yeah. So it's like just a lot. It's like a platform just drilled into the wall, and then it's being held up by a tree trunk.
Cool. No
giant log. Yeah.
Luckily, a professional carpenter put it together. So
that's true.
He did a top notch. He's great at what he does. So yeah, he made it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Solid.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where my I got an itchy leg after leaving Johnny's, and I'm pretty sure because he said, yeah, he's like, I pulled this log in from over in the woods line, and it was all in poison ivy, and my bed was laying right next to it. So I think at some point I like kicked it or something.
Yeah.
My leg is just fucked. But shout
So
out
I'm
to
like,
Paranoid. He actually gave me some salve that he made. The salve that he made, I put on there, and it fucking took the itching all away.
No, that's cool.
Shout out Paranoid. Go ahead, nerd.
oh, I was gonna say, so I'm like 8 feet off the ground, and everybody else sleeping on the floor. So when I woke up in the morning, I took my pillow and I leaned over the edge, and I like just dropped that ungrateful.
Yeah, I was
trying to get it right on his face.
I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Of course you did.
Yeah, it was a good trip, man. It was a lot of fun hanging out over there. I always have a great time over at Johnny's. I think you've heard of him before. He's been on. I think you were watching a cultivation conversation, but he is one of the hosts from Your Average Grow. So
yeah, cool.
Those are good buddies.
Yeah, I have seen them. Yeah, and I love that podcast too, man. They're amazing.
They're funny.
Yeah, Captain and G3. Yeah, they're just great. Yeah.
So yeah, we got to do that, and then Paranoid. So the three of us, it was Paranoid, Nerd, and Istig. We convoyed back from Johnny's, did a couple stops, went to your house, Nerd, and I want to say thank you for keeping my lemon bomb safe.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Johnny was kind enough to dig out a portion of his lemon balm for me to take to plant out in my backyard.
Oh, nice.
And I'm also learning that you can also, on top of shout out to Rev, because he was actually just telling me about this. Not only can you use lemon balm for, like tea, right? Like you can use it for yourself, but they're also, you can use them for ferments and stuff like that. So you can put that stuff back in your garden. So that's going to be one of the main things I'd like to do is grow a good patch of lemon balm, be able to ferment it or,
yeah, cool.
That. So, but yeah, Nerd got was the lucky one. This is like a 3 foot, plant, and it was in a 2-gallon pot. So it was decent. And this was sitting between his legs from, what was that? Like a 2.5 hour.
Like 2.5 hours. Yeah. I'm basically spooning this lemon bomb in the passenger seat.
And there's a picture out there. So if you are on our Discord, I could always reshare it. He fell asleep. I think it was the lemon bomb was probably just calming enough to just put him to sleep. So he was
literally fell asleep spooning it. I was like, oh baby, it's like a body pillow.
What was even funnier about all this? So we, there's a collective of us have like this little chat, and we put all the pictures in it of that weekend. And Nerd used the program and actually made a coloring book. So if you are interested in the Freedom Fest coloring book, it is available over on our Discord. And there is one of Nerd laying there sleeping with lemon bomb.
That's
as a coloring book page.
Fucking hilarious.
So the funny thing about the coloring book conversion that I use is that because it's coloring book, they want it to be kid friendly. Yeah. So it kept turning all of our drugs into candy. So like one of the coloring book pages is Johnny and Grateful with just all this weed on the table, and it's just all lollipops and candy bars.
Just two dudes just sitting there smiling. Like only if you had seen the original picture, which makes it even funnier because it's just like, oh man.
The other one was there's a bunch of us sitting around with beers, and there's the ashtray on the table, and it turned the ashtray into a plate of cookies, and it turned all our beers into glasses of milk. It's having milk and cookies party.
It's fucking great. So funny. So we did that. Paranoid came back over here to my place, and we hung out. We recorded that in Grateful's Bush. We're still working on a name for it, but that was just kind of what
I kind of like that name. That's a pretty good name, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
I was like, hey man, like, we were just kind of driving around. We had gone out to go grab something to eat and come back. I was like, hey, you want to record? We'll just, go out in my backyard and record. And we just started just kind of bouncing names. Like in Grateful's Bush. So,
yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think we'll do a thing. So if you're ever in the area, or if you'd like to come hang out in my bush, Don.
Yeah, cool, man. I'd love to be in your bush. Love to visit your bush.
I'm actually going to start a competing show called Clean Shaven.
That's great. That is too funny. But yeah, so we got to hang out. We went over to Focus's farm that he's got going on over there to see all the stuff he's got growing, and Paranoid picked up some seeds, so I'm very excited to see what he cooks up. And yeah, it was just a fun time, man. It's always good to be able to get all the homies, gromies, whatever you want to call it,
nothing better
together.
than that.
Yeah. You know, I do enjoy going to these large, you know, like festivals, or say if like, you know, this or that, but really what it's about is being able to get together with everybody that you're more than likely probably you know, like with the Discord, we are on there every day talking to each other. So finally being able to like disconnect and just be there in person,
man.
you know, it's just awesome.
And you build a better bond and relationship that way. It's more personal.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's cool when you're on chats or whatever, but when you actually get to hang out with somebody and you know, really feed off their energy, or vice versa, it's a big difference. It's huge.
Well, and then that whole relationship changes, right? I mean, you know, if somebody that you're just talking to online, once you've met them in person, it definitely feels like that relationship change. You now know that person more, you know, or it's like you meet them and you're like, oh, okay, now I understand, you know, why he's so silly. He's just a silly guy in person.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
whatever it may be, you'll.
I mean,
little quirks.
that's how you and I connected. I met you over in Connecticut. I think it was a Cannakan show or something similar to that. And
shout out to Master Yoda.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we've gotten to hang out a couple times. Met you up in Boston. You were.
I got to meet your wife.
Yes. Yep. You sure did. And you know, as usual, she's always one of those ones where like, oh, you're friends with this idiot. Like, you know, she's always just got to bust my balls in front of my friends, you know, just to make me just a wee bit smaller. But I love her for it because she's funny as hell.
Yeah, man, that funny. Yeah. That funny woman. She's probably standing in the doorway off frame right now.
Looking at me like, you better hurry up, motherfucker. We got things to do. But yeah, no, I was super jealous. You got to see me fangirl over Jeremy from Build the Soil because you guys were like right next to each other.
Yeah, which was a huge mistake because I didn't really know who he was at the time. And then it was like everybody just crowded over there. And I was like, who is this guy? Then I learned. I was like, oh, shit. All right. Now I know who he is.
Yep. Well, at least hopefully that brought you some traffic over to your area.
Yeah, no, it was good. And it was good to become more familiar with him and what he's got going on too. Much respect to him. So for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's right up your alley with all the organic stuff and all that. But hell, you don't even need them. You got everything going on.
Yeah. And that show was actually huge because that's where I actually met Tom from Seedsman was there.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, which was really cool. That changed the whole trajectory of Cannakan for sure. So that was a big show.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember. I think since even that first weekend that I met you, you would bring product out to those meetups, and every time you sold out of them. So
yeah, we did pretty good.
Awesome.
And it's pretty cool because that was before the brand was even had a name at all, for sure. It was
that was back when you had two goofy dudes making man, reels about no nudes and snacks in your
eating
meal.
popcorn out of the can and stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely awesome, man. I love that. Yeah, those were
some good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
So speaking of our reels, another funny story from our trip is that my 5-year-old got to meet Paranoid.
Oh yeah.
Because the funny thing is, so I watch YouTube with my son, and sometimes our videos will get recommended to my other account, right?
Oh wow!
And he thinks that I'm cooter.
That's fucking great.
So I was just like, hey, this is the guy that you think is me on YouTube.
I mean, what a life your son has to be like. So like our stuff pops up on YouTube, and he just your son is just growing up and like, oh, I'm meeting these famous people from YouTube.
Yeah,
like
my dad's on TV. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, same thing with my son. It's pretty crazy because I mean, this is so out of the realm for me, but it's part of what I do now, and yeah, at first it was pretty cool. My son would be like, "Wow, that's crazy, you're on there," and now he's like, doesn't even care anymore. It's like whatever.
Talking to his weird friends again.
But we just, like I said, we just had Matt and Nick from Strange Show. They flew to my house and they went to Berlin in Austria with us. And they're pretty well known. And with them, Tyler was a little starstruck with them because it's like, yeah, oh my god, that's Matt, the Strange Show guy. Wow, he's here. So
that's awesome.
And it's cool. Then you know, just like anything else, and then you hang out with somebody long enough and you forget that whole part of their life, you know what I mean? You'd be really connected with them, and it's pretty neat. And for me, my son coming in from behind the scenes and seeing Cannakan from a business side, not like he's learning about cannabis from some joint, who knows where it's from, behind the library. Right. It's a pretty wild thing to come and watch. And I don't know if everybody would think it's the best thing, but for me, it's pretty interesting to see a young kid come in and see this community or industry from a totally different angle, man. It's pretty wild.
I mean, I think that's how ultimately we get things to be normalized, right? I mean,
there's like, no stigma in this house.
Right. So like, you know, my generation, the generation before, and even the generation before that, right? Like, it was taught that it was a bad thing. And now we're starting to get to that point where it's like, oh, it can literally be just another plant out in our garden growing with everything else. It's not treated any different. We have people that host podcast shows. We have people that run a international business that consume and grow cannabis. Shit, these people aren't all bad that do this. And now that we have this next generation that's coming up, like my daughter, you know, she's around it to an extent. She knows, you know, certain things. I think that's the way. And then we'll eventually see people outside of this to be like, oh, look, there is normal people that do that and have normal relationships and hold jobs.
One thing I found, especially being a parent and being in this realm, because it was a difficult transition for me to kind of be like, hey, Cannakan, cannabis, when he was, you know, like 12 years old or something. Well, one thing I realized, it's only a big deal if you make it a big deal.
Yeah.
And like you said, and my son also watched his father spend almost a year in bed because of a neck surgery on 13 different meds when he got home from this major surgery out in Boston, and weaning himself off of these opiates using, you know, cannabis. You know, I had somebody making me, you know, oils and stuff, and I weaned myself off of all that stuff. He's also watching somebody that struggled their whole lives with sleeping issues using this plant to get his life back. You know what I mean? So it's far beyond like bong hits and smoking joints. You know what I mean?
Right.
And also he's seeing it from the industry business side of it. You know, another thing that people might frown upon, but I was pretty proud about, we had a show in Central Mass, and like 2 days before, everybody bailed on me. They weren't able to go for legitimate reasons. You know what I mean? There was some stuff that was going on, and I was like, oh, crap, man, I'm going to be doing the show by myself. And my son was like, hey, Dad, I live it. I know it. Yeah. I'm more than happy to help you out.
Put me in, coach.
Bro, and he did. He jumped in, and you know, at first I was like, oh, man, I don't know. And he went in through the back doors, went through this whole crowd of people smoking, had his laptop on us, carrying stuff in, like all business. Started off running the machine and doing the cash thing. And then next thing you know, it's like, Dad, you mind if I talk to a couple people? And I was like, you know what? Everybody was so positive about the role he was playing there and how it was a family thing. And man, he crushed it. And I had a hotel room already reserved for the people that we were staying there with. And I was like, shit, man, just stay here out here with me. Yeah, and we took the rent-a-car, went out and had like the best steak dinner that night. And, he had his own room key, so I was outside. He'd run it. Oh, Dad, you forgot this upstairs, so he could use his room key. And it ended up being what I thought was going to be this tragic weekend. It ended up being one of the most memorable and pivotal weekends within him and my relationship and his involvement in this company. And it was it ended up being an amazing weekend. And it's one he still talks about. Even yesterday, he was like, dude, we're going to go back to that place when we got the cheeseburger. That was like the best cheeseburger. I'm like, so it's pretty crazy, man, with these, the road leads you, this journey's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine when you started all this and when this, this whole Cannakan idea came to fruition, you're never like, this is gonna bring my family closer together in a sense, right? Like, you're like, oh no, it's a business, and now look, you just had this amazing weekend with your son, and I'm glad to hear. I know we had talked, it's been quite some time, but I know you had just mentioned he was just starting to get involved with all his stuff and kind of learn the scene. So it's great to hear that everything's going very well and he's having great success.
Yeah, man, it is. And like I said, you and I, we all talked about this idea he had with, and I won't get
Yeah.
into it because I think it's still going to happen. But it's really cool to see him, because I've tried. No 15-year-old wants to fold how-to menus and instructions and pack stuff, and but he's got a different perspective. He's younger. He's got this fresh ideas and stuff, and to see the wheels turning on places that I don't really focus in on, or things that I'm just passing by and not paying attention to, seeing him bringing some fresh ideas in to the plate is pretty remarkable too, because ultimately this is his company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just recently into my 50s, and this isn't about me. You know what I mean? It's about, providing my son with something that I wasn't afforded growing up. You know what I mean? So it's Cannacan's a much bigger deal than the product and the profit itself. Not that there's been much profit at this point, but in the big picture, it's a lot grander than what it looks like on the surface, for sure.
Yeah. No, I love that there's
Personally,
the family aspect of it and being able to, and you've always been, people that you're around and people that you, involve in your circle, you like us always keeping in contact and talking with. I love that part about you is you are a genuine person. The person that you see is the person that you're getting.
I appreciate
And,
that.
so I've always had that respect for you. But while we're at it, man, we might as well. Where did Cannakan come from? What gave you the idea to get it rolling? Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah, so like I said, us doing a lot of gardening here. As I mentioned, we have all our baker's racks. We always starting all different, flowers and vegetables every year. And cannabis seeds were one of the things that we started every year. And like I said, being in an older house and having, unfortunately, those environmental elements kind of affect the, where we are, because I don't have central, heating and cooling and all that. So sometimes it was a crapshoot. Some years they just
basements.
Yeah, and trying different methods a little bit every year. It was just always a crapshoot. And don't get me wrong, we were here germinating a lot of seeds for other people because I was successful. But when you have a bad year, it can be a really costly year. Especially back in the beginning days, it wasn't easy getting seeds. Seeds, you would get them in a package. You'd have to sometimes search, like, where are they in this package? Because you were getting them shipped somewhere, and it was, so the difficulty getting the seeds, the cost of some of these seeds, it was a way of, just kind of eliminating all those inconsistencies, all those variables, those surprises. And it all came to play in April of 2022, where my brother-in-law's nephew unfortunately passed away, and he was a cultivator, and I ended up getting a seed collection. That same year, we had a huge variety of seeds already that we had ordered from overseas, I believe, at the time. And we had a miserable germination rates that year. And it was, when you're doing almost the same method as last year, and you're like, what the hell happened this year? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on?
Happened years and years. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been doing the same thing every year. And it's like, then finally that year, because I had taken on the responsibility of so many different seeds for so many different people. It was just like, something's got to change. And I remember it was so bad that, and I remember the company we got them from, I was like sending pictures of my setup, like, dude, I'm not a newbie at this, like something's not right. And, and they hear that from everybody. So it's like, how do I, and my buddy Mike and I remember him and I sitting out in my shop, and I'm like, man, we're like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be some sort of device out there that does this. And it was like, nah, there isn't. There's nowhere. And I was sitting at I was doing website development at the time, and I was sitting in front of my computer and had all these varieties of seeds and the replacements. The company did replace them, so we had the replacements. I had my brother-in-law's nephew's collection, and I'm like, oh man, like all the jars, all the labels, the transferring them into there, and even direct sowing. It's like if you're direct sowing, especially like indoors, you're setting up your tent days ahead of time, warming up your soil temperatures, and I was just like, this is too much. There's got to be an easier way. And I had I don't think it's down here. I had a frog tape container and just sitting on the desk, and it was empty. And I was like, wait a minute, let me see this. I can make a little pie shape thing and organize them. So I create a little pie shape insert and I put them in there, and I was like, well, that's cool. There we go. I can organize the seeds. And then I was like, wait a minute, the container's clear. I want it dark because I was going to wrap it with electrical tape. What are you, fool? Just get your son's 3D printer upstairs that he hasn't been using. It's all dusty, and let me make an outer container. And then it just like, after that, it was like, okay, I have them separated, but now what? Yeah. Now I got to soak them. And then it's like, okay, I got them soaked, organized. How do I stay organized and put them into, bags or whatever and not screw up these? So then I started putting an alignment feature on it so the thing wouldn't spin in the container, so I could keep all those, partitions in this position correctly. And then I was like, well, I might as well put numbers on them. And then it was like, all right, let's increase the volume of water. And then I was just trying to do like soak tech, just let them soak in there and see what happened. It was like, man, I was getting crummy germination rates. And then I was like, all right, how do I not move them around and then germinate them? Then I put little feet in the bottom of the container. Then the feet ended up going on the strainer. Then the partition started coming out. Then I put a filter in, and it was changing. And I was like with little testers and probes every day. And then all of a sudden, I just found the perfect formula. And it was like I was able to soak all these seeds, separated and organized, remove the water, leave a little bit in the bottom, put them back on the heat, create a convection where the seeds sit, where the perfect temperature. And I remember the first time I opened up the lid, I was like, holy shit. Like it looked like bean sprouts in there. And I was like, and it was at that moment, my heart skipped a beat. And I knew it at that moment. Well, I was pretty damn sure that I was onto something.
Yeah.
And, I showed my buddy Mike came by, and I was like, you got to see this. And he was like, holy shit. So him and I immediately started looking everywhere. He got on all like cannabis seed sites, vegetable sites. I started doing like patent searches, and we both meet back up like, dude, there's nothing. There's nothing. And so I just threw that thing in my sweatshirt pocket, and I fucking headed up to Seekonk. Saw a friend of mine that was a business owner that I had a pretty good a couple decade friendship with. He owned a floor covering company. I did all his web work, all his online marketing and everything else. He was big into investing. And I was like, and him and I over the years doing e-commerce stuff was always like, what's that product? What's that? This is too heavy to ship. This is electronic. There's too much competition. This is, it was always, there was never that product. And when I opened the lid, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. Yeah. And of course I get there and I'm like, I think, it's in my pocket. I think everybody in the world sees it. They all know what it is and they're all going to steal it from me. And I show up there and he is like absolutely to the gills busy. And I'm just like, oh no, like I can't wait to talk to him. And finally I just got him up in his office. I shut the door and I showed him and he was like, shit, dude, go get a hold of some attorneys. And that was it. That was how it all began.
Now, the first part of the story, we're talking about, you know, all your little tweaks that you're doing. How long of a period was this from the time that you picked up that first tape thing to the point where you got to that divider and you were like, okay, I feel like I'm going up there to talk to somebody about something?
Honestly, the second I started working on it, I stopped sleeping. It was, and I'm talking till like this day today. Like it hasn't, that fire hasn't gone out. So we're talking, I had it from my first divider print to having that thing patented was only a matter of like 3 or 4 months.
Oh no shit. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I would try to sleep and I would just sit at the ceiling like, oh my God, if I made this change, and I would just have to get up, go downstairs, and I would put my headlamp on and I'd be in my son's room. Prints were failing. I was like, oh shit. Like finally I'd move his printer downstairs and I upgraded a printer, and it was like, dude, I would just go for 2 or 3 days until I couldn't go anymore. Sleep for a few hours. It didn't matter what time I woke up, and then I would just go. And I was so obsessed with it that I couldn't stop. And so it literally, from the first print to, it was a matter of 3 or 4 months till I was had my patent applications in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show the product. It's a simple thing. And you look at it, you're like, oh shit. Yeah. But you coming up with this and doing this, I mean, it shows you put a lot of hard work into it, and it's a great device. I
appreciate it.
I don't necessarily use it with the heat mat. I'm one of those.
I know
where it's like
I know.
It's for me. It's the auto flowers, and I get so nervous.
Yeah, I think it's auto.
Taproots.
Yeah, the auto flower part.
Yeah.
Because and if I was growing photos, I would definitely be using to the T how that works, because I could see that being something that's going to make it go a lot quicker, right? For me, it's like boom, soak. I want these things out of my way. I don't want to look at them funny and stunt them. You know, I don't want to like accidentally.
Well, I know, and I know you do. You use it for the organizational properties of it. But I will say that a large portion of the people that buy it are auto growers.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, because they're always germinating something new. Sure. And I do get a lot of auto started and stuff, and I do get that. You don't want to mess, because as soon as a root touches something, it just wants to go into flower. Right. Well, we've never had any issues, as long as you're right on top of them. So, but I will say a lot of people that use it are auto growers. That's almost like a big part of our sales. Yeah,
there's I think that's become there. Some people look down upon autos and this and that, but I think that's becoming a big part of the market. A lot of people like them.
They've come such a long way, man. And you see some of these results of, I know some people that just auto grow. Is like this grower CC 420. She is like the queen of autos. This girl grows monsters, and she's another one. All she uses Cannakan. She's one of our biggest and original supporters of Cannakan. Yeah,
that's awesome.
But they have come a long way in the last decade, man, for sure.
Yeah. So you got the product, you're up there pitching it to them. You guys got the lawyers. What's the next step in the story? What was happening?
Well, the next step in the story was watching somebody I knew for over 2 decades get really greedy and try to take over things, and things went south real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I feel about grateful.
You're right.
Funny.
But there was that reality of watching things turn business, and there was 2 instances of that was really eye-opening for me. One, I watched a couple decade business of somebody that was really like one of my best friends. Just seeing that business, investment, and greed take over and just like kill it. And the other instance I saw of that is when I finally got to market and I was building the brand, watching some people in the community get a product and a banner from somebody else and just totally sell their soul and start attacking me personally.
Yeah.
Was really difficult because I've never been attacked. I'm a pretty decent person, So that was a tough pill to swallow, to let go and be like, oh shit, you know what? This is business now. It just turned into a business. This isn't about me. Because at first I was like trying to defend myself. People, I'm like, how are they not understanding this? Like, I'm working so hard at this. Like, don't they know I don't sleep and I got everything in there? How are they attacking me? And it's like, oh, dude, this is just the reality of it, man.
The internet is a tricky place. That's something that I've found doing all this. Before this, I didn't really, I wouldn't really frequent online communities. But I have noticed that since YouTube, everybody seems to have a degree in something or other, right? And they're always smarter than you, and they always have something smarter to say. So it's a tough place, and definitely when you open yourself up to more people, that's what happens. You get more, different varieties.
Everybody's trying to be, internet famous, and and it's not everybody. There's a lot of people that do that, and they lose touch on what got them there in the first place. That passion that brought them in the beginning, they lose focus on that. It's unfortunate, and that's why, I get a lot of respect when I go on to a lot of shows and there's just like a handful of people in there. And these people, like you were talking about, cultivation conversations, you guys, where you're doing it for the passion, what brought you there. And one thing, and I respect you for, right in the beginning, you guys were like, hey, listen, yeah, we're going to try this new thing. The second it's not fun, we're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's always been the rule from the beginning. That's always been.
And you find the most down to earth, passionate, and realist people. They're back every week or whenever their schedule is, doing it for those reasons, because they're still on that passion path.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not losing focus. They don't care who's in the chat. They're psyched to see their regulars and stuff, but they're not. Yeah. They're not brand building. They're not trying to, like, you know what I mean, where they show up and they look like a NASCAR driver because they got
sure.
Yeah, man. And it's like, so
speaking
let me take this shirt off then.
Whoa. You look great. I love that shirt. That shirt's got a lot of special meaning to it for sure.
You've got to lift it up so everybody can see it, and y'all have to tell the story of how that shirt came about.
I'll let you tell. Yeah.
So he messages me and says, hey, I want to get you a shirt. So then obviously he meant a Cannakan shirt, but I messaged him back as if he was going to buy me any shirt I wanted. So I was like, oh, I like My Little Pony and horror movies. And then in the mail, I get a zombie My Little Pony Cannakan shirt. It's very cool.
Fucking awesome.
Oh, man. It's so fun, man.
That's my favorite part about being in online communities, is like all the little mementos you acquire over the years. Because before we were Grateful Nerd, I had a horror movie website, and then before that I had a comic book website. So like I've been a content creator for a minute, and I have I have a whole cabinet over there that's all little things like that people have made me, or letters people wrote me, or stickers from everybody. And
yeah, it's awesome.
Just cool. It's cool to pull it out and just go through it and have all these memories.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's nice going back to your roots. Like, you guys are like my OGs, man. Like, it was, I met Grateful through Master Yoda, and who's another great person. And I remember
he was one of your first people.
He was one of like the first users and one of the first people to actually, outside of me, create content with results. Yeah. And somebody that was, when he used it, you're like, oh wow, this guy's a pretty knowledgeable dude and he's really passionate about what he does. And that's where him and I connected in the beginning. And I met you through him, and then I was like, oh cool, like, who was that guy again? And I went home, Grateful God, and I was like, oh my God, these guys are writing some freaking absolutely hilarious little videos and stuff. And I was like, this is amazing. And I was just like, yeah, I remember, like, I was just like obsessed with your shit. I was like just crushing it, like. And I was like, man, you guys are killing it. Like, I love it, man.
It was fun, man. Yeah. And we appreciate your very early support. And of course, you sent us out those Cannakans, and I haven't turned away from it, and I always love those early videos that we made. The one with the one that we collabed with Master Yoda and doing the popcorn.
Oh my God, that was amazing. And I didn't know anything about it. See, that was like such an amazing surprise. And it was like seeing your content was like such a major breath of, a breath of fresh air. It was like so different than these like just like product driven, like it was just like, we don't take any of this seriously and we're just going to throw it out there. And it makes for like some of the best content, man. It's amazing.
I think that you are right. You know, when you the people that lose, you know, they do it for whatever reason it may be, but people do lose sight from things, and I think that that's important. Where, you know, that's why we do try to be a little different. Where it's not where, you know, we're bringing on people to pitch their, you know, products every week or something like that. Like we are based through the community. We are regular people, and I think that when it comes to people that are, you know, on YouTube, people that do podcasts, you know, people within the community tend to put them on pedestals, and that they're these other people, and they've got to, you know, either be nervous around or this or that. And when it comes down to it, past beyond the screen, we're all just people. And when we meet each other and we spend time with people in the community, you realize that, and we're all just people in the same fucking, you know, same area doing the shit. So
I agree. And there's a guy, I don't know if you're familiar with Strange Show, but it's Matt and now his brother Nick. And so I met him in Vegas last year when I went to the first MJ Biz that I've ever been to. And a few people were like, "Oh, you're going to meet this guy, Matt. He's Strange Show." I was like, "What the hell, Strange Show? Whatever." And, you know, he's like the skinny little dude. He's got these red dreadlocks.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. I watched his stuff.
Dude, and him and I connected like absolutely immediately. It was like, oh, wow, this is why everybody's saying we should talk. Now, I didn't know much about him until later on. Same thing with like after me and you, like, who's this Strange Show guy? And I was like, oh, damn, this guy's videos get like over 1 million views. He's got 350,000 followers. And at the time, he had no sponsorships. He had nothing. He had no clue how far his reach was until he went to Vegas. This was a guy that when kids were out pretending to be doctors and firemen and policemen, he was running around with his brother with a camera, pretending to be a guy, you know, writing for High Times magazine. Like that was his thing as a little kid. Yeah. And he's just so good at like documentaries and telling stories, and he does like this medicated Mondays where he has a live podcast. But he's somebody that was out there and could have had every sponsorship in the world and had zero. Sure. Just because he was showing up doing this because he loves it. Yeah. You know, he's got a couple really great documentaries out there that would just absolutely, he just has this amazing talent for telling stories. And I met him in Vegas and he was like, "What's this Cannakan thing?" And I started telling him about it. And I think him and I just sat there for like an hour and a half and just were like in major conversation. He was like, "Oh my God, dude." He's like, "I need to tell the story." He's like, "This is like the Bill Gates thing. This is like," he's like, "in your basement and all this." And he's like, "It's the hero story." And I was like, okay. And we never went anywhere from there. And then finally we figured it out, and we ended up like figuring out we were going to Germany together. And he was like, "Dude, I want to take advantage of this trip. I'm going to show up to your house 2 days early, and I want to do this documentary on your journey."
That's so cool.
And I was like, all right, cool. And I just got back from doing that. But it's amazing to see, like, you know, that's why I don't want to paint a picture for everybody that's out there. Like they just jump in and then all of a sudden they're chasing sponsorship. You could be, you know, there's small guys and big guys that are in there doing it for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Still doing it because they're chasing their passions. And they're not worried about what they're getting out of it. It's what they're putting into it that really is what they're about. And it's those people that are doing the biggest the biggest contributions to the bigger picture with this community, with this industry, about this plant. Because it's needed, big or small. We all need it because we all have different audiences. Like Cannakan is such a specific, niche. If we just hit over 5,000 followers on Instagram, and it's like, okay, well, that doesn't sound that big. That's 5,000 people that are into germination.
Yeah.
We're not showing plants. We're not showing things. Like, they're specifically into like a seed popping. Like, so it's pretty good. And we see that translate into our conversion rates on the website, and like how many people visit and how many of those people actually reach out. And it's over 10% of the visitors actually take the time to fill out the email address and send us a message when you're going to be back in stock and whatever it is. And it's pretty massive. So it's like, if you're following us, you're really into growing, and you're really about all the way drilled down to like germination. Okay. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, with what you were saying about like thinking 5,000 is not a lot. Like, you and I both have backgrounds in digital marketing, and I'm sure you're familiar with the 1,000 true fans strategy.
Yeah,
where if you could sell 1,000 people $100 worth of stuff a year, that's a 6-figure salary.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And it's like I said, it's crazy to see, because I've done like a lot of marketing. I've done a lot of ads where you're almost like throwing a handful of papers and hopefully one sticks on somebody's face, where it's so specific that when we do reach out, like literally to get to this point, I think I spent like $37 in marketing over like the last 3 years.
Oh shit.
So it's pretty remarkable. Like, I've never seen this type of like analytics and data that comes out of the way this is worked out. It's really, when I came into it in a traditional marketing approach, it was just like so left field. It was like, no, that does not work here, especially with the red tape with cannabis. Sure. But yeah, it's pretty wild. It's been nonstop learning over the last, it's almost 3.5 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So one thing I was just thinking about, I was thinking about it like 10 minutes ago, but when you said you were developing the Cannakan, you was like, there's got to be a better way. You definitely got to make like a 90s commercial, like 90s style commercial, where it's like a woman and her whole kitchen's covered in Solo cups, and she's like, germination is ruining my life. And then a guy with a Solo cup and a Sharpie, and he's like, my hand's cramping. And like, there's got to be a better way.
Right. I wanted to do one like almost with the Reefer Madness.
Oh, Reefer.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to do one like that, where he's out on the street selling stuff and whatever else, and he's selling the Cannakan, and it's like, like.
That's great.
Yeah.
Or you do one as like a.
Not the baggies,
like,
not the paper towels. I got this new Cannakan thing. See,
or you do like an old school ambulance chaser one, where it's like, if you've been emotionally harmed during germination, you may be entitled to compensation. Cannakan LLC is here to help you.
I love to do stuff like that. Yeah, great ideas.
It has been a long time since we've made a Cannakan reel, so we may have to cook something up.
Yeah, you got some good ideas there. Go for it. Yeah, but I do love that, like that idea of doing stuff like that. It would be great. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, and that's the the thing that I've loved about you is you've always been community driven. You've always been out there, putting the boots to the ground, right? Instead of just being like, okay, I have a company, I'm just going to sit back here. It is what it is. And you're out there. I see you in the lives and in the podcast. When you're chatting and commenting. Taking the time out of your day to come into Instagram, because like so much shit going on, but you're out there and you're commenting on things, and I commend you for that.
Well, I found out really early on, like I said, traditional marketing didn't work. The red tape thing didn't work. And in the beginning, when I was trying to, how do you get the word out? You give people your product, you let them try it. But who do you give it to? So it was really important to me to go out there and really see what the community was about and see who was in the community, and then build these really great relationships within the community. And then what I found out after doing that was, wow, this community is really powerful. And without the community, I would be having 4 pieces of plastic and a heat pad for real. It's a very diverse community. And I actually recently, I ran into, like I was mentioning to you before, I ran into a problem, like the tariffs have been a big issue, and
Yeah.
it's actually consumed me because I had to take a different approach with the company itself. I actually had to pretty much co-brand the company and set up a couple other companies outside of that were more, because Cannakan's the brand. It's actually an agricultural product, but it was the weight of pivoting and doing this new approach kind of pulled me away from the community a bit recently over the last 4 or 5 months, and I felt so guilty about it because I was so embedded in it. But
Yeah.
some loose solutions are coming in the way, and I've been kind of weaseling my way back into place, and it feels good because you know these are the people that are using the product. These are the people that help promote your product, or um, the community is you can't go into this community and fake it either. You know what I mean? You'll get called out immediately.
Word
Um,
moves fast.
yeah, it really does. And what was amazing to me, when I first came up with Cannakan, being in my late 40s, it's almost like you're settled in life. You know what I mean? And you have my friends that have been, I was always so like, all my, you know, my newest friend that I made, it was 25 years ago, and it was like so settled. And then I came up with this product and entered this community, and it was not to say like all the people in the before, those are my homies, but this product allowed me to finally, because there was a point where it was like, oh shit, I'm working on this thing. I'm a professional developing websites, online marketing for these companies. And all of a sudden now I'm coming out and be like, hey, I dabble in cannabis.
Yeah, sure.
So for me to it's like, going in the middle of the hallway in school, that nightmare where you just like open the trench coat and just show all your goods to the world.
Yeah,
That's what
this
it
is
kind of
me.
felt. That's what it kind of felt like. And
I
I
know that
see a
feeling.
little disruption in Facebook, because I was really, back then, Facebook was really good for marketing companies, and you know what I mean? So I was really involved in Facebook, even personally, Facebook page. And it was like, I noticed a little disruption in that when I finally was like, hey, I'm working on this thing. But at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm pretty proud of what I just did. I built this company by myself. You know what I mean? From making t-shirts to, creating every single piece of text, every video, the websites, all by my, and I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm pretty proud of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It proves that like you can be successful and still dabble a little bit. But what I found was I found my tribe. I could finally be my real self, with my true self finally. And there was a lot of MFs out there just like me.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like really a huge relief, to come out and not be secretive and be proud about something within that industry or within, that community. Was huge. And since then, I mean, like you guys, I've known you guys for almost a couple of years now, and I'm glad to have met you guys, and I'm glad to have you in my arsenal of friends now, because that just betters my life. You know what I mean? Having great people around that are like-minded. You know what I mean? That are saying, you know what? I don't give a shit if you judge me, because if you're judging me, then you don't belong around me.
Yeah.
And you get to really like mess with your peeps, man, and that's huge. And it's been remarkable now at this point, and after the last trip, to be in different areas around the world and having connections with so many different people that the curtains are wide open. There's nothing, nothing there. There's
Nothing's
no,
stopping you.
there really isn't. And it's pretty amazing. It's been a hell of it's been like a rebirth, to be honest.
You're doing amazing things now. I mean, when we first met you, I think you at that point you were only doing U.S. sales, and at this point now, how many countries have you sold Cannakan in? And
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Great question. Like, I've sold out of my kitchen
Yeah, you hand package all of these, right?
All
I
of
mean,
them. Like all the instructions, the partition charts, I'm sending those through a lamination machine. Like I cutting them all on my paper cutter. I've sold over 30 countries out of my kitchen. Yeah, so pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. Pretty. Just recently, I put a Sue bought me a map for Christmas of the world with little pins, and I was like, "Wow, that's pretty neat." And I just recently put the board up and just kind of went through all the countries that I've sold to, and
that's awesome.
it's pretty insane to see it traveling all the way from Japan to Alaska to Sweden to South America, South Africa.
Yeah,
It's been it almost fuels your fire a little more. Like it was, because this has been the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life. You know what I mean? And there's been points where it was like, man,
what am I doing?
what am I doing? Am I, because like I was very confident when I came up with it, but you get a couple years in and it's like, people think that, oh, it's Cannakan now. Like this guy's killing it. And it's like, dude, I have not made a penny. I have not made a penny from this. And it's been very difficult. It's been very difficult on Sue because, when I first came up with it, to me, it wasn't like a choice. There was no choice. There was no like, do you do this? Do you not do this? It was like, holy shit, I got to do this.
Yeah.
Because my whole life I've been wondering, like, I started getting to the point in my late 40s, like, oh my God, like, because I always felt like I had a talent or I had something special that I could have been doing.
Sure.
I was an artist and there was always, but I always like seemed to squander all these different opportunities or talents that I had because I never found that thing I was like completely passionate about. Like even when I was like, I was always self-employed and it was like, and then you get into a relationship and then you have a kid and there's almost like this responsibility. And it's like, telling like, when I had a son, it was like, how do you tell your kid to chase his dreams and you're not? And then it was like, but I wasn't even sure what my dreams were. So then I came across, I spent some time, I had major neck surgery and I was doing some design work for like doing, business cards or flyers, started doing some website design for people that had some wireframes because, they weren't website builders at that time. And when I had the neck surgery, I was like, well, I learned a lot about websites and the website people I knew were kind of ripping off people. They're putting up like these fast websites and just cashing in on monthly hosting and, just stealing people's money basically. And I thought, well, maybe I could do this a little bit better. So while I was down and out, I really learned about coding and got a little bit involved. Luckily, by the time I started really learning about HTML, CSS, PHP, then there started being better website builders out there. But that understanding, it really helped me. But it was like almost I was convincing Sue, like, oh, this is it. This is the one now. This is it. This website thing is where it's at. Like, but I knew to myself, I was just lying to her and just trying to buy time. I mean, I thought it was. I mean, out of all the options out there, it was a pretty good option, but I still knew it wasn't it. And it was with Cannakan, it was using my engineered mind. It was using my carpentry skills. It was using the all the knowledge with website development and marketing that I used. It was like all these skin knees in life where finally like all those lessons, good or bad, all came together. And it was like, finally, it was like, I found something. It was like, oh shit, this is it. This is me at 101%. Like I finally found this thing. And that's why when it came up, it wasn't like, you either go for it or don't do it. Take a chance, don't take a chance. It was like I sat down with Sue and my son. I was like, Sue, I don't know what I'm going to, this is probably going to take a few years, but this is it. I know it. And she could see the passion in me and where I was going with it. And to tell my 12-year-old son, hey kid, no more Christmases, no more birthdays for a few years. And they could just see it like there was no stopping me. Yeah. And, honestly, I knew the second I opened that lid and I saw that success, I was like, there's no failing. If the only thing that's going to stop me is me. Yeah. And it was true. It was like, I didn't stop. I found a solution to every hurdle, because in the beginning it was almost like, I was reaching out and trying to see how much this idea was going to cost to take it from a 3D printer to the real world, and it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I was like, well, I ain't got that.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like, all right, step back. Look at all these. What can I knock off this list and bring that price down? And I found out that I could do everything except for the actual plastic injection itself.
Okay.
And I did everything. I did everything that I could, even all the way up to CAD design, so that when I did get to the engineer that was going to do the I could keep even that cost down, because I could almost show up with an almost finished product, and then he could turn it into an injectable product and then get it done. Okay. So it was like, it just goes to show you, like, and one thing I learned is that when you put your heart and soul into everything or anything at all, if you step back from the big picture and you start at step one, you'll find if you put 100% of yourself into it and you don't give up, all those solutions and opportunities, they present themselves. You just have to recognize them. And you can't, it was the first time in my life that I was like, you know what, fuck it. If I don't try, I'm never going to, you know, if I don't swing, I'm not going to hit. And it was like every time I swung, I was hitting a home run. It was like, and it was everything. And it was just like everything, all the way from when I came up with the name Cannakan, I was like, oh, I'm going to buy the Cannakan.com. And it was like in auction for like $12,000. And I was like trying to convince the guy, like, hey, we got to go to auction with this thing. And I'm a GoDaddy reseller because of my website company. And I would just always check. And this thing was going for auction, but somebody ended up lapsing. And it went to free market again. And I was like, no way. And I jumped on that morning. I bought it for $13. I was like, no way. You know, I'm like checking it for like a half hour. Did I spell it right? There's got to be something can't be right. But it was always something like that. It was always like, as soon as I needed something, like a plastic engineer, I got as far as I could get. Who does plastic engineering? I don't know. And I reached to all these companies, and they were just like, we're going to bill you for everything. Like, we're not going to work on your design. We'll take what you have and charge you to make these crazy molds. And I was like, shit. I went on Facebook, and some kid I went to 5th grade with was like, hey, I know somebody. I was like, what? And then the guy Ken Do Designs, he's like such an integral part of Cannakan now. It's like all the way down to like coming across Seedsman in Boston. It's just like, if you start going and you put yourself full-hearted into something, I don't care if I didn't have any money. And it's just like, it's all worked out all along the way as long as you put the work into it, man. It's absolutely insane.
It's always like the way I always look at it is those things happen organically. They happen naturally. It's always going to work out so much better than forcing it. And it sounds like you've just had great success with just putting yourself out there, doing your thing, and that energy comes back to you.
It's true, because once you start focusing in one element, now you're in that element, you're in that realm. And then as you that starts to expand, and then all of a sudden it leads you into where you need to be next. And then you do the same thing over and over again. And it's like, as long as you recognize and you're not afraid, but you got to do the grind. Because since I've done this, I've had a lot of people reach out like, oh my God, I got this idea and I'm going to pass. And they start talking to me for hours. Like, and I'm like, listen, I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but don't talk to me until you go patent this thing. You need to go do your work or whatever it is. Unless talking's great, but it's just words.
Right.
Unless you're willing to go down and dig in and really do the work, it's just talk. So if you're willing to put the work in, it's just like, man, like you said, like I've sold to over 30 countries out of my kitchen.
It's amazing.
And I started this with no money.
I'm always chasing that the hyper obsessive flow. Like that's where I always feel my best.
For me, there being so many different elements to this, I need that because I'm chaotic, man. I'm like hyper focused. When I get into something, it's like the rest of the world. Like it literally was like I was cutting the grass. I was actually building the greenhouse with my girl, and like I came with Cannakan. It was like the lawnmower stayed there, 3-foot grass grew around it. The greenhouse stopped being put together. Like I just jumped in, and there was enough variety to this that it kept me really busy, kept me focused on, as focused as I can, because I'm like, I just get hyper on something and the blinders go up and I'm full on.
Yeah.
And luckily this situation catered to my personality, really well, really well.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you joining us. We're kind of getting close to the end of the show here,
Yeah,
and
man.
but I want to know, what's the future for Cannakan? Are we able to get Cannakans right now? What's the deal? And tell us where we can get one.
Yeah, so the deal is, like I mentioned, we ran into some really serious issues with these tariffs. It was really difficult to navigate. Part of that solution was because here I am sitting on my hands, not being able to sell my product because I wasn't able to afford to sell my own product. So one of the things that I did do is I ended up expanding Cannakan over to the EU. I just set up a GmbH, which is pretty much like an LLC in the US over in Austria, which is going to allow me, because there's a lot of interest in Cannakan over in the European market, which just going to Berlin was really why, an eye opener because it is big over there. But during that visit and during building a relationship with the Seedsman company, I have to just really shout out to Tom. He's the CEO and founder of Seedsman. He's a remarkable guy. This guy, outside of the name Strip It Back, helped me fix my business behind the scenes just out of the kindness of his heart. He saw me in the beginning, was like, I love it. I love what you're going on. And we would just talk and email, and he helped me. And we've built over the last year and a half a really great relationship. And he's actually helping me build my company up and get stock so I don't sell out anymore. Because the last time we had stock, I sold out in 8 days. It was insane.
It's always quick, man. It's quick.
Yeah, I know. And people and it kills me because I always get them, when are you gonna be stock again? I missed it. And it's like you never. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it was remarkable to see, selling out in 8 days. So we have a lot of stock coming. I just had all the European heat pads and everything. Everything's all certified. Everything's approved. Along with the tariff thing, I have the CCAN. You can go to like ccanllc.com, CCAN GmbH. CCAN is now in a trademark. We're an absolute agricultural product, which it always was. Cannakan is the brand. I have a trade version coming out too. This working with Seedsman is actually opening up. So in the next couple months, I'll be working on the new trade version that's coming up. And this is for beginning growers to advanced growers. So I have a lot of stock coming. It'll probably be here at the end of the summer. We're not selling out ever again. And but if we do this time, it'll be huge. I won't even care because we have a lot of stock coming. So yeah, stay tuned. Cannakan.com. Sign up to the newsletter. We're on IG, the Cannakan, Facebook, Cannakan, YouTube, Cannakan, TikTok, Cannakan. As long as you're following us or the newsletter, as soon as I know, you'll know because I'm very excited about it. People get upset. You don't have your product. Nobody wants me to be selling my product more than me.
Right.
So, but we're getting positioned, and it was a lot of dialing in, listening back to the community and the users, making small adjustments to everything that's going on. So I have a phenomenal heat pad with the latest technology, far infrared. I made, strainer changes with longer tabs. The partitions come out, remove easier. So we're coming back bigger and better than ever.
Improved.
I have Mo from Austria that's part of Cannakan now. He's helped me on the European side a lot with social media. So big things are coming. Please be patient, but it's all been ordered. I know my heat pads are moving over to the next place. They're going to be fulfilling stuff. We're coming out bigger and better than ever. And soon, I don't know exactly when, but really soon.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll make sure to make that announcement. We hear from you. We will let the other peoples know. So appreciate it, man. And yeah, thank you for joining us, dude.
Man, I've been dying to come on. Yeah, I've been coming off, but me too, man. I've been dying to jump on with you guys for a long time. I see we're at an hour and a half. That flew by like that.
Yeah.
You guys aren't just, hosts. You guys are truly friends. And I really appreciate it. I'm really grateful.
Grateful.
I'm grateful.
Nothing to go with a nerd, but I'm grateful that we crossed paths, and I really appreciate your support at the very beginning. And yeah. Definitely, guys. You guys are fantastic. My OGs.
I appreciate you. We're gonna have to get you to join the crew. So we'll get you back on because I know Paranoid would love to talk with you and pick your brain about things. So
Sure, man.
You've got an open invitation to come back whenever we can get you back on, brother.
I appreciate it. Let me know your new shirt size.
Oh yeah, I'll let you know. A little extra weight. You know, hey, it is what it is.
No.
I'm gonna say I got it's the winter weight.
Got you, man.
You know, it gets a little cold up here. Got to put a little extra pound.
Yeah. I
July, but
I resemble those remarks too, man. Don't worry about it.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Nerds, you got anything before we close this bitch out?
no, it's thanks again to Johnny for the hospitality. That was my first time meeting anyone that wasn't you, so
it was a good time.
It was fun.
Well, hopefully it wasn't as disappointing as meeting me, but yeah, we had a great time.
There, top 5, but
well, cool guys. It's been awesome hanging out. Appreciate you, Don, and I hope everybody enjoyed. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.
See y'all.